Issue, the Ghana Journalists Association has also warned it will impose a nationwide media blackout on the police activities if the Ghana Police Service fails to act decisively on recent media brutalities within the next 7 days. That was at a press conference earlier today. GJA President Albert Kwabena Jomfo strongly condemned the assaults, calling them unacceptable and a threat to Ghana's democracy. Take a look.
No longer accept symbolic condemnations without action. We will no longer allow the work of journalists to be criminalized under the pretext of national security or public order. If the Ghana Police Service fails to act decisively within the next 7 days, as already stated, the GJA, in consultation with key stakeholders, will announce a nationwide media blackout of all police activities. We will instruct our members to withhold coverage of police events, refuse participation in police press briefings, and suspend all forms of editorial engagement involving the police. Failure to do so will leave us with no option but to advise all media houses across the country and our members to boycott all police-related activities and declare them as enemies of press freedom. And we will declare them as enemies of press freedom in the country. This is not a threat. And I want to reiterate that, Mr. IGP and your men in uniform, this is not a threat. It is a necessary action to defend the dignity and safety of every Ghanaian journalist. And we shall do that.
As the president of the Ghana Journalists Association there. Now, Sulemana Braimah is the director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, is joining us on Zoom right now. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining us, Sule. Now, you'll hear the president make that point emphatically that no security personnel found culpable in all of these instances of brutalities against journalists will be shielded, and is going to personally put some interest in there to ensure that justice is served. Was that reassuring for you, especially because of the issues you had raised prior to today after that incident involving the Joy News journalist?
Yeah, certainly. I think what has happened between yesterday and now are two significant developments. A very condemnable act on the part of our security agencies, and a very commendable act on the part of our president. And I think when these things happen, what's important is to look at the extent to which the duty bearers are responsive in an attempt to address it. What sometimes is really problematic is the impunity with which some of these acts are perpetrated. And so I think the comments and the posturing of the president would send a very strong signal to every Ghanaian, whether in the security agencies or a civilian, that, well, you cannot just take the laws into your own hands and decide that, you are displeased with whatever a journalist is doing or someone is doing, and you resort to violence against those people. So I think it's very commendable. And I said in the morning elsewhere that in our efforts to promote press freedom and safety of journalists, one of the critical things that we look at is when incidents like these happen, what have been the response, or what are the response from the authorities to try and address the concerns. And so I think, yes, we've already condemned what happened yesterday, and I think we must commend the president for the actions being taken.
Right. And beyond the president's statement, strong statement of assurance today, which you commend, what do you want to see? Because this is not the first time we've seen journalists being at the receiving end of brutalities by security personnel. And this is the military we are talking about here in this recent one yesterday. They say they have their own way of punishing their people. And so we don't get to know how these people are punished. What do you want to see?
I think we are in a different era of some sort. We've had 8 years ago a different government, a different leader in place. The president, in his remarks, talks about the fact that he is a card-bearing member of the GJA, and it is the GJA that also held a press conference today to raise concerns about the developments that have happened. And so, as a member of the GJA, I think the president is also absolutely committed to the demands of the GJA. I wouldn't want to believe that the president just said certain things to please the ears of advocates and journalists and activists, for that matter. I think that that would be quite disappointing if, in the end, it turns out that the president was essentially just saying things to please people. I believe that the actions as announced by the president will be followed through, the investigations and the eventual sanctioning of the officers who were involved. And the sanctions could come in many forms. For me, as I said, what is also critical is a strong signal that the president's actions send to the entire Ghanaian community when it comes to press freedom and safety of journalists.
And you hear the president talk about a meeting that will be at his instance between the Ghana Journalists Association and then also the heads of the security agencies in this country to understand the work of journalists and then how we can work hand in hand for the greater good. Now, what are your expectations of this particular meeting and how that should also address the teething matters that we have been faced with as journalists over the period?
I think it is quite important, but I must also say that our security agencies, particularly the Ghana Armed Forces and the Ghana Police Service, have over the years tried to orient their officers to appreciate the importance of the media. But to a large extent, I think those orientation sessions have tended to focus on how the media can help project the activities of these security agencies, and less of how the security agencies can collaborate and partner with the media when it comes to ensuring that the media are safe to be able to do their work. So if this is being convened by no less a person than the president, I think it sends a different signal. And I believe that going forward, the attitudes and conduct of our security personnel in relation to dealing with journalists could be different. Of course, we need to highlight the fact that all these are not meant to say that journalists are above the law or journalists can do anything they want. We are all under the law. We are all equal before the law. And therefore, when we go against the law, of course, the law will take its course. But the law taking its course does not include being slapped or being brutalized on the field whilst you are doing your work.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. Sulemana Braimah is Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa. Thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight.